Hey there, Soul Shines. It's Michelle here, and today I'm inviting you to wake up and live. I almost forgot that. That's so sad. I know I forgot it a few days ago, and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I forgot it. Today we are going to talk about feelings and the power of love. And if you're like me, the song from the 80s just came to your mind. Okay, so what do I want to talk about with feelings? Let's imagine, if you will, a coin. Oh, I have this one here. This is the coolest coin. This is a round to it. Have you ever had a round to it? I was telling my friend about them, and a couple weeks later, I got a present in the mail. And I got all YouTubey. This way. There we go. Am I holding that right? Yeah. Now get to it. Get her done. Now get her done. If on the sides over here it says chew it. And on this side, lots of words. It says, this is a genuine to it. And then a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll get around to it. I got around to it. Yeah. Okay, so I got around to it. But that was like totally sidetracked. But I'm using this as it's a coin. Okay? It's got two sides, right? These are our feelings. Feelings have two sides. On one side, you have, say, an angry outburst. And on the other side, you have a happy outburst, which is also called a laugh. So, when you have two sides, sometimes we do a lot of healing on our anger, but we still are bursting out with anger. And it's because we have some negativity about feeling positive. So, I had a lot of negativity about laughing. I would laugh at the most inopportune times, and it would draw attention to me. I didn't always like my laugh. I had issues with it, and so that was kind of hard. So I did some healing work about laughing, and I've done a lot of healing work about anger, and I had an experience, and I've shared this on my channel before, but it's such a profound experience for me that I love to share it. So I had this experience where I went to play the piano for somebody at our church. She was absent, so I substituted for her. And I hadn't played the songs for a very long time, so I was kind of making mistakes. One of the songs I actually wasn't even familiar with at all. But I do have a gift for sight reading, so it's not too bad. I still made mistakes, but I was doing pretty good. And so here I am playing along, and before that day, when I would mess up, especially in front of people, I would get angry. Sometimes I would stomp my foot, sometimes I would express it in anger, sometimes I would keep it to myself. One time in high school, when I was in my a performance in theater, I was on stage doing my dialogue, and I totally messed up my lines. I turned and I stomped my feet, went back into character, and finished what I was doing. So I have this tendency to just kind of go and get mad. And so I was playing the piano, and I made a mistake. And I had just done the healing work on laughing and all the healing work on anger. I've been doing all this healing work. And I was playing along, and I made a mistake, and I laughed at myself. I just started laughing. I was like, I made a mistake. And I kept going on. I was like, holy cow, it works. So what happens is an angry outburst has to come out, or a laughing outburst has to come out. It's the same coin. So the same energy is like, okay, I got to be expressed. And are you going to express me as a laugh or as a grr or some kind of an angry outburst? And we get to choose. The problem is if we have negative feelings if we got mocked because we laugh, or we feel embarrassed when we laugh, or we got told to be quiet when we were laughing, or anything like that. If we have any kind of negativity around laughing, no matter how much anger management stuff you do, how much you clear the energy of anger, when this kind of thing comes out and it has to burst out, if you have negativity around laughing, it's going to come out as an angry outburst because it has no other path. It has to do one or the other. And so when we heal our experiences that are positive so that we feel great, then it can come out as a laugh. So that's why sometimes if you do a lot of work on your anger or sadness or other feelings, it can't really be expressed, or it doesn't seem to go away. You're like, I've done so much healing, why doesn't it go away? And the other thing that happens is we've never experienced some things. I believe in a life after death. I believe that when people I love die, they get to go to somewhere amazing. Their spirit is still around. They get to come back and visit with us in spirit form, and they continue to exist. That is my personal belief. You can choose what you want to believe. But here I am going to my cousin's funeral a couple months ago, or a month and a half ago. It hasn't been that long. Maybe it's only been a month. His funeral, I think, was on March 1st. So went to his funeral, and I'm sitting here going, I know where he goes. Why is it when I think about him going there, do I just feel sadness coming up and crying coming up? So what I did is I asked God to give me teachings about the opposite of grief so that I could experience that joy that is on the other side of the coin. And after I did that, when I would think about where he's going, it lights me up. So we talk about vibration all of the time. We always talk about having a good vibration, moving up the vibration scale. The problem is we don't always know what it feels like. If you've never felt joy, how do you know what that feels like? I mean, as a little girl, there were quite a few feelings that I had no clue how they felt. As I moved into adulthood, I'm like, I don't know how it feels to feel that way. I have no conceptual understanding of how that feeling feels. So I asked God to give me that feeling and teach me how to feel that way. If you do not believe in God, ask the universe, ask your higher self, ask somebody, ask the universe, teach me how to feel that way. So we're always talking about, I want to have a high vibration. Well, ask the universe, ask God, teach me, give me the knowledge of how it feels to have that high vibration. And then you can choose into that vibration. It's hard to choose into a vibration when you don't know what it feels like. And so you ask for the teachings, and all of a sudden now you have that ability. It's pretty cool. It's like magic. It's like a miracle. It's pretty awesome. So that's something important. I just started thinking about my son and how I'm like, oh, we need to work with him so that he can choose a different kind of reaction to things. So it is a choice. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it's a choice. So what do? This is where the power of love comes in. I had an experience not very long ago, probably a couple months ago, and this time it really was a couple months ago, where I was feeling very afraid. I was so afraid. We had a weird sound in the night. I'm pretty sure my son had Legos on his bed and kicked it over, and it sounded like breaking glass. I mean, we're all asleep, right? And it was pretty crazy and pretty scary, and I was just in fear. And it was that same fear of the dark, that same fear when you wake up from a nightmare and it just kind of lingers. Those same kind of feelings is what I was feeling, and I was like, okay, I'm never going to go back to sleep as long as I have this. What can I do? So this is where you can choose love. I was like, okay, I'm feeling fear. I love the fear. I am so grateful for this fear. I choose love and gratitude. I thought in my mind, when was the first time that I felt this fear? This kind of fear, this intense fear. How old was I? What was going on? And I got the answer. I was like 3 or something. And so I go back to that age and I'm like, okay, where in, on, or around my body is this energy held? And then I tune into where I'm feeling the fear in my body, on my body, in my aura around my body. And I tune into it and I just send it love. I send it love. I send it forgiveness. I send it gratitude. I send it light. Just keep bombarding it until it dissolves. Because that's what happens. It just dissolves. And then I replace it with things like trusting, I am safe, giving it lots of positive things and allowing the energy just to keep coming in and filling it up. I did that experience. I calmed down instantly. Then I started hearing a voice, got rid of the voice because it was not mine. I do not use that kind of language. Got rid of the spirit that was hanging out in my home. Sorry if you don't believe in that kind of stuff. That's my experience. Got rid of it, and all of a sudden I was calm and able to go back to sleep. And I've noticed that I don't have that intense fear anymore. Even I've had some pretty crazy things. Like I had a pretty, oh my gosh, dream this morning. Like it was not good. Like brains being blown out and everything. Like intense stuff. And that's the kind of thing that normally would have left me in fear for a very, very long time. This morning I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. Took a few deep breaths and released it. It was gone. And it was awesome. And I loved it. So that's one of the things you can do. You can do that for fear, for sadness, for anger, for anything. You can think, when was the first time? And then make sure you ask for other things. As I am highly aware that I worry a lot. I'm pretty sensitive. Somebody made a comment on my video and I'm worried that I offended him in my response. That's just kind of where my brain goes. And so I've asked for the opposite, like what's the opposite of worry? To me, that kind of feels like trusting. Trusting that everything's going to be okay. Trusting myself, trusting the universe, trusting God, trusting. And so I asked for that kind of energy and I have felt so much better since doing so. So just trusting that everything's going to be okay. The other thing, last little tidbit I do is, so right now I am feeling anxious. I'm feeling like I'm saying something that's going to offend somebody, or I'm leaving something out, or I'm going too long. I have these anxiety feelings coming up. So what can I do about it? One thing is to be grateful. I'm grateful for the anxiety because it is a part of why I am so conscious of other people, is because I am constantly thinking about how are they going to respond to things. That's a good thing. That's a good, nothing is good or bad until you label it. So there are some good things that come from it. It also is letting me know that I'm not in a trusting state, and that is kind of like the little warning sign. Hey, you're not trusting. Let this go so you can move back into trust. Let this go so you can move back into a higher vibration. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the anxiety and all that it teaches me. And I love this anxiety and all that it teaches me. And then I can finish up by saying, I feel this anxiety fully and completely. And I can feel the energy change. I tend to yawn and sigh when I have an energetic shift, and it's still coming, so excuse the yawning. I feel this anxiety fully and completely, and I'm feeling myself calm down and just kind of relaxing. And sometimes I forget it, so I'm really glad I did that because I was feeling pretty anxious. And just saying, I'm feeling these feelings fully and completely can help us to move out of that state. We're like, I'm acknowledging it. I'm not holding it back. I stop resisting. I'm feeling it and allowing it to go out. When we feel it fully and completely, it doesn't last very long. In fact, it lasts seconds, just like you just saw. In my mind, I just said I'm feeling the resistant fully and completely, because obviously I'm resisting letting go of the anxiety. It's very familiar to me, and sometimes being in a relaxed state is not as familiar, and yet that's that higher vibration that we want to be in. There is no tension in the high vibration, so I'm feeling my feelings fully and completely. I hope you found at least one thing that was positive for you. If you did, please like this video. Invite friends to like it, like sharing and all that kind of things. If you have not subscribed, I welcome subscribers who can subscribe. I really do hope that you found at least one thing that was helpful to you in this video. I just want to remind you to let your soul shine big, bright, live, and beautiful. Be the incredible you that you were created to be, and feel your feelings. It's okay.